Professor Black Ops, you said, let's get it. Tesla 3 hacked, phone stolen. You can unlock your doors with your phone, right? It's called Bluetooth. Everybody knows what that is, but that's actually a very insecure protocol. And we're going to look at the article and go through it. And the guy who actually did the hack had a short video, so we'll look at that and do a little commentary on that video. So let's get in a quick article. New Bluetooth hack can unlock your Tesla and all kinds of other devices. All it takes is a hijack Bluetooth secure device, custom code, and $100 in hardware. So that you get close to your car, you can unlock it. But Bluetooth, once again, has been hacked forever, really. So when you use your phone to unlock your Tesla, the device and the car use Bluetooth signal to measure the proximity to each other. Move closer to the car with the phone in hand, the door automatically unlocks. Move away and it locks. This proximity authentication works on the assumption that the key stored in the phone can only be transmitted when the locked device is within range of Bluetooth. Now, researchers have devised a hack that allows him to unlock millions of Teslas, countless other devices, even when the authenticating phone or key fob is hundreds of yards away or miles away. The hack, which exploit the weakness in Bluetooth low energy standard adhered by thousands of device makers, can be used to unlock doors, open and operate vehicles, and gain unauthorized access to a host of laptops and other security sensitive devices. When convenience comes back to bite us, hacking into a car from hundreds of miles away tangibly demonstrates how our connected world opens up to threats from other sides of the country, sometimes even the other side of the world. Khan, a principal security consultant and researcher at security firm NCC Group, the research circumvents typical countermeasures against remote adversarial vehicle unlocking and change the way we need to think about security, Bluetooth low energy communications. This is a class hack which is known as a relay attack, a close cousin to the personal man in the middle attack. In the simplest form, a relay attack requires two attackers. In the case of a locked Tesla, the first attacker, we call attacker one, is in close proximity to your car while out of the range of the authenticating phone. Attacker two, meanwhile, is in close proximity to the legitimate phone used to unlock the vehicle. Attacker one and two have an open internet connections that allow them to exchange data. So they actually have a picture coming up of that. That was pretty interesting. Attacker one uses her own Bluetooth-enabled device to impersonate the authenticating phone and sends Tesla a signal, prompting Tesla to replay the authentication request. Capture one captures the request and sends it to attacker two, who in turn forwards the request to the authenticating phone. The phone responds with the credentials, which the attacker two promptly captures and replays back to attacker one. Attacker one then sends the credentials to the car. Right, so that's a picture of it, right? So that's attacker one, it's attacker two, and that's the car owner, right? So they're relaying the attack to actually open up the car, right? So that's your relay station attack. And so here's a video demonstration of that particular attack. Fair use. Let's roll that back a little bit. Let me replay it.
Is a 2021 Tesla Model Y. It has phone as a key functionality set up with this phone. So, as long as I approach the car while this phone is in my hand or my pocket, I can touch the door handle and it will unlock.
So once again, it's fair use. He's using his phone to actually open up the car. It's pretty standard with Tesla and every, different Bluetooth devices out there.
The same way I can sit in the car and drive it away. When I want to lock the car, I just need to walk away from it and it will lock once the phone goes outside Bluetooth range. Once we're in the office, it might leave the phone somewhere, maybe on a table, a good distance away from the car. So with the phone in this position, normally the car cannot be unlocked. Here, we have a relay device that I've planted within the office. It is sitting almost 20 meters away from where the phone is at the other end of the office, but their Bluetooth signal range is still long enough for it to reach this. So, right now, the car is locked. The phone is far away at the opposite end of the office, and my relay is not active.
So what he said, right? The phone is in the office. He's getting a Bluetooth signal on the other laptop that's relaying it to this laptop, right? That's the relay attack.
So I try unlocking the car. See, it doesn't let me. However, once I start the relay, and it just takes a moment to get going, now I can approach the car, and it lets me unlock it. And not only this, with the same attack, I can now start the car and drive it away.
So that's crazy, right? He unlocked it and get to start it and drive off with it, right? So that's sometimes when you try to make, like you said, convenience, you need to make sure you have security all the way through the process. So some guy's not driving away with your Tesla. So well, that's how you can steal a Tesla. No, I'm just joking. Well, let's go and finish the quick article. The replay attack in real life will need to have actually two actual attackers, which makes that a little harder, right? Relaying the device can be stashed in the garden, cut room, or other way out of the way place at home, restaurant, or office. When the target arrives at the destination, moves in on the Bluetooth range of the stashed device. It receives the secret credentials and relays it to the device station near the car operated by the attacker. Right, so now we get into the nitty gritty of the details of what that's like. Susceptibility of the BLE, which is Bluetooth Low Range Energy, is a relay attack is well known. So device makers have long relied on countermeasures to prevent such above scenario from occurring. One defense is to measure the flow of the request and response and reject authentication when latency reaches a certain threshold. Since relay communication is generally takes longer to complete than a legitimate one, another protection is to encrypt the credentials in the phone. Uh, Con BLE relay attacks defeat this mitigation by making such hacks viable against a large base of devices and products previously assumed to be hardened against such an attack. So the key success bypass of this is unlike the low energy relay attack is to capture data at the baseline where the radio signals are sent and received from the device, and does so at the link layer, the very low level of the Bluetooth stack, when connections are advised, created, maintained, and terminated. The BLE relay attacks works at the GANT shortwave generic attribute profile, and this is the profile actually of a Bluetooth relay. So that's the application at the top, device host. This is his link layer, right? The physical or relay is actually the phone and the software, right? So they're stacks on top of each other, right? So now we get into the super technology of it, right? Because the link layer is where credential is encrypted, right there, right? Credentials are encrypted. The new methods defeats the cryptographical defense that defends against that. Link layer relays have a significantly less latency than the GANT relay because they bypass the level of the stack that acts as the bandwidth bottleneck. That makes the link layer relay indistinguishable from legitimate communications. Cons attack use custom software. They only spent about $100 worth of equipment. He has confirmed that it works against the Tesla Model 3, the Model Y, the Kevo smart locks marketed under Key West and Wizard brand. But he says virtually any BLE device that authenticates slowly on proximity as opposed to requiring user interaction, geolocation query, or something else is vulnerable. Right. So the problem is face proximity authentication is used in places where it was never safe to do so. So just because your phone is close to the car, it really wasn't made to unlock your car, or definitely not start your car, right? But it's convenient. It's a standard device for shared data. It was never meant to be a standard proximity authentication. However, various companies has adopted it to implement proximity authentication. Because this threat isn't caused by a traditional bug or error in either the Bluetooth specification or implementation of the standard, no CVE designation used to track the vulnerability content. So since it wasn't made for your phone to unlock your car and drive with it that close, they don't consider that a bug, right? With them still in your car. So just kind of flowing through it. So let's wrap it up. Making BLE authentication safer. With no patch or fix in sight, what can be done? Answer: requires something more than just the proximity before you trust the phone or key fob as authentication. One mechanism is to check the location of the authentication device to ensure that it's in actually fact physically close to the located car. So remember, the phone was in the office. He had the laptop close to the car that was replaying this tag, right? So the phone should be able to say it's not, within meters of the car, right? There's locations on both devices. Another countermeasure is to require the use to provide some form of input authentication device before it's trusted. Phone-based security keys comply with the recently introduced web authentication standard. For instance, require not only the device to be close to the machine or account being locked, but also the user present the device with a valid fingerprint, facial scanner, or PIN that prevents the attacker from working on the device. So just because he unlocks your door to actually start it, that could be a PIN, fingerprint, thumbprint, or even facial print. Right? Another countermeasure is to use the phone accelerometer to measure its movement. When the device has been stationary for a given amount of time, the proximity key functionally is disabled. So the KeySet representative at the iOS app for Kiva has a timeout feature that activates once the device has been stationary for 30 seconds. It provides an option for requiring a PIN before the device is trusted. That features aren't available yet in the company Android app, but the representative says company expect the PIN option to be available in Android for a while. So by the time you put your phone down and walk away, the phone should have locked right for that other person to put a pin in. So those are what they said mitigated control. So a representative of the Bluetooth Special Standards Committee specifications include a collection of features that provide developers the tools they need to secure communication between Bluetooth devices and implement the appropriate level of security for their product. All Bluetooth specifications are subject to security reviews during the development process. The NC Group issued a statement here talking about the Bluetooth device. This is really important point. It is still significantly harder for a random thief to open up a Tesla than an old car with the cylinder lock. This kind of attack sorts of requires that you are targeting the driver directly. If you have a legitimate worry about that kind of attack, I don't think you would ever trust the interior of your car to being secure without some kind of custom system that requires more than just the lock. This is not to say people should ignore this type of vulnerability, just that it has to be considered with the weakest link in anyone's personal security chain. So once again, watch your Tesla. They've been standard Bluetooth attack. Once again, Professor Black Ops, fair use. Please subscribe.